All right, hello everyone, and welcome to another week of your favorite show, Theory Crafting Thursday. I, of course, am Ursinity, and I'm sitting here with Proud, my
Yes, you are. Hello.
compatriot,
Yeah,
comrade,
that's who I am.
anyone, Russian, if you want to say that. Other things, adjectives, nouns, whatever. He's here, I'm here, that's what's important. And of course, we're going to talk about some Dota. So to just jump right into it, as always, let's talk about how Dota's been treating us this last week or so. How about you, Proud? You want to start?
It's been dope. I've been picking this hero. I think what's his name? Lone Druid. I think that's who I've been playing recently. I've been winning on him as this is kind of the patch to do it, turns out.
Yeah,
Um,
that's for sure.
I've recovered from the abyss that I've been talking about for several weeks. I'm back above 4.6, and I feel like this train is just not going to stop. And I'm probably going to be 8K in like 3 weeks. Because this hero doesn't fuck. I don't lose anymore. It was a brief period where I lost when I was going, where I was like trying to figure out the Bulldog slash Paradise offlane Radiant shit that's super popular in Europe. That was kind of counter to the way I've been playing him for a while, but kind of got hype on the Midas, learned how to do the ancients well at like level 3 and shit, and just like kind of if your lane's hard, turns out you can just be jungle lone druid for the entire laning phase, and that's going great. And I'm currently my last 10 games, I've won 9 of them on this hero, so it's pretty good.
Nice. Well, I'm glad. I mean, we have opposite uh, weeks then, because you are climbing out of the abyss, and I am just sinking right into it. I am being swallowed up by whatever. And boy, I'm as everybody knows who follows my Twitter, I have just been losing and losing and then losing and then still losing more. I'm on
Well,
a
you
nine
did
game.
you would win a few games, and those
I
were
won.
me.
All right. So I'll explain it as I'm sure you know because these were games with us. But my like past like 15 games are 13 losses and 2 wins. And normally, I'm a player that plays very little unranked. The only really time I play ranked is for this show, and then like if I'm with people that don't play unranked, like you. Um, and we had a bunch of unranked. All right, I've been losing unranked, but then in ranked, I have like all losses, and our 2 wins are a whopping 11-point win and a 21-point win. But then immediately after that, we lost 37 points in a game. So it's like, oh, cool, you won two. I don't care. You still have a
Victim
net
of
loss.
circumstance. Victim of circumstance. We had a player
Gosh.
DC that game. It was not our fault directly.
Well, I'm full aware. There's no fault. However, I would just I feel like I've been playing pretty well. I had like 1 or 2 games where I like deserved to lose, but in general, I've been very happy with my play, and it just the cards have not been aligning.
I
Nothing has
know.
worked out for
I know
me.
the pain, man.
It's
I dropped
I know.
700 as soon as my break started. I lose 700. I'm like, I'm gonna get that 5K this break. I'm gonna do it. Nope, nope. That didn't
Yeah.
happen. So the bright times, they're gonna come. They're gonna come for you. You're gonna be great.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm excited for the bright times because they're on the horizon, but like my boat is like partially sunk and I'm having trouble getting there,
Just to
which is
make you feel worse, the only lone druid loss I have was
is with
a
me.
party. No, 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 not with you. It was with a party game where like the people weren't really paying attention, and we had one core, and it was lone druid. So maybe you should just play that hero. I feel
I
like that's the
I
thing to do
actually
this
did win a
patch.
lone druid game the other
There you
day.
go. Anyone can play it.
I mean I have like a
Easy
decent amount
hero.
of lone druid games for like a regular player. But I've even tried to like cure my streak, obviously, and I've tried to do that by like going full try hard. I've been playing like only my best heroes like Naga, Kunkka, Lina, stuff like that. Mostly just Kunkka actually, and it
Right.
just nothing. I have not found the panacea, but I feel like this is an important thing to talk about because I mean, it's cathartic. Obviously, I love to complain and whatever, but
Yeah.
more
Thank God we had
importantly,
to re-record last week's show like 3 times.
yeah, boy, last week's show I was also on a losing streak, and I'm sure some of that came
It's
through.
fun
There
for
was way more of it
nobody.
on the first one. Yeah. Anyway, um, I think this is an important thing to talk about because it's like a mutual experience that I feel like all Dota players have at some point or another. And if you haven't reached it yet, then I'm sorry to inform you that you will hit this point and you will lose like 10 games in a row no matter what you do. It's just gonna happen eventually. And this shared experience we're all better for it. Although in the short term, it sucks, and I hate this game, and I want to play League, or I've been playing Blade and Soul with some of the other .p guys. I know you're not a Blade and Soul devotee yet, but if you are playing Blade and Soul and you listen to this, hit us up on Twitter, and we can invite you to the clan. It's a good time. It's my favorite dating sim. That's what I've been calling it, even though there's no dating sim aspects, but
That
there's
makes
a
a lot of
lot of
sense.
like anime girls, so I feel like it's like one step away from a dating sim.
Okay.
But yeah, so I mean, Dota's not the best for me, but then again, like I've been pretty happy with my play, so that's one thing. You
That's
can be
what's
sad about,
important.
yeah. Well, that's what I mean, exactly. That's what's important in the long run, right? Like even
Yeah.
if I have a bad game, I know like I'm learning things, and I've been playing some like really great games, so some games I don't mind losing, but with that many losses in a row and ranked, gosh, I lost like 200 party and 100 solo, and boy, ugh, all
Wow.
right.
Just imagine if that was
I know.
700.
Imagine if that's 700. I know. This is why
Yeah.
like, I cannot even begin to imagine, and I have no intention of ever
You
learning to
gotta,
imagine.
you gotta have such a powerful, inspirational mindset to
Yeah.
endure such a thing and come back stronger for it.
Yeah, boy, I'm amazed at people like you that only play ranked because like I get so
Yeah.
demoralized. I play ranked so infrequently, especially solo, that like every win or loss counts. Like I feel like so much more because I just stay at that MMR for like a long time. Like I was at like 4380 for like probably a month and a half because it's just like I mean I don't play solo queue, so it's like all right, well if I
Yeah.
win one or lose one, it's rough. Anyway,
Yeah. It helps
um,
that I never really make mistakes when I play. So like whenever I lose a game,
that's
I know
true.
it's just not my fault and it's everyone else. So like it really helps me kind of stay, above it all.
Yeah, I mean that must be wonderful for you.
Yeah. Well,
I'm excited for you, and
it's kind of a burden, I'm gonna be honest.
oh, I'm sure you got to teach all these people. You got to be like, hey, dude, buy an
It's
Urban
rough.
Spirit
It's rough.
Breaker. Yep.
Yeah. A new meta.
You gotta teach them all these things. Anyway, I think hopefully we'll win today. Hopefully you will carry our
I'm not
your.
playing Lone Druid, so don't really
That's
bet.
true. Maybe we will lose.
Oh, we're,
All
we're
right.
playing my other hero that doesn't lose except when it does.
Yeah, except when it does. And yeah. All right. Well, before we talk about our combo, what we're gonna do is talk about 6.86D, which drops like literally hours
The D
before
is
this
for dope.
podcast was recorded. Yes, not really, actually.
It is.
I mean, kind of. I'm actually pretty happy about the
It
patch,
is.
even though.
It is.
All right. So for anybody who has not seen, because this is one of those minor changes. So like, it's not on the front page yet of Dota or anything. The full changelog is Aether Lens now has a 550 gold recipe instead of a cloak, and accordingly does not have any magic resistance component, which, proud to his credit, did
So
suggest last week.
I'm gonna have to come out. So a lot of the times I say things on this show that don't really make any sense and they're like really dumb. But that's mostly just because like I'm okay. So I'm actually Ice Frog, and normally I just say shit because I'm like I'm not actually gonna do this, but like maybe it'll start a nice conversation. And then I said that, and I was like, I'll just kind of say it. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, no, this change is like worth coming out for. So here I'm coming out on to you guys and as an ice frog. And this is who I am. Ice Frog is a mid 4K lone druid spammer, as this patch would indicate.
That's fair. That's fair. I respect you for coming out. It takes a lot of courage, and God bless. I didn't realize that I was in the presence of such grace, and that explains why you never make mistakes.
Yeah,
But
because I made the game. I mean, yeah.
exactly, yes.
And
All right.
I've been giving you your shit teams that give you those losses too. So
Oh, perfect. Thank you. God bless. All right. Next change. There's only four changes. That's why I'm reading them off in verbatim. Hand of God from Chen rather. Cooldown is no longer reduced by Aghanim Scepter. This is well, we'll talk about all the changes in general. Anyway, I'll
how long
keep
did
reading.
it like reduce its thing before? I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Some
Scrunk would
amount
know.
maybe.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
he
it was like
seems like the
30
guy.
seconds less, or like it was not a huge deal. I really don't feel like this is an adequate nerf. But then again, nobody plays this hero except in the pro scene, so like, what do I
Yeah.
really care? All right. Next two nerfs are Invoker nerfs. Invoker's base again. Invoker
Holy
nerfs.
shit!
I'll
No,
point out.
this is important. That fucking Ag Scepter may change its cooldown from fucking 161 41 20 to goddamn 30. 30
Oh,
seconds.
what? Okay,
What?
never mind. That's
Yeah, I
huge.
remember it. I was like, I'm pretty sure that Ags was like really good before they just like added the ancient things to it. Yeah, that's
That's crazy
no
good.
longer do you just like heal your fucking ancients up every wave you push in. Okay, that's
Okay,
huge.
that yeah,
Thank
that
you,
is a really big deal.
team. He's
Thank you,
now
Ice Frog.
not like an insanely good early game and also really strong late game.
All right, God bless OS Frog. All right, next two are Invoker nerfs. Invoker's base agility is reduced by 6. It's reduced from 20 to 14, and Deafening Blast now costs 100 additional mana. It used to be 200 mana, now it's 300 mana. And then they just fixed a bunch of bugs that nobody
Goodness
cares about.
gracious.
And yeah, so Invoker, they nerfed him. They nerfed Alacrity in last patch, 6.86C, which was fair because that spell was admittedly very strong in the laning phase. But I'm not too happy with these additional nerfs because I feel like I feel like they did not nerf where like he's very like consistently pretty strong now, for a variety of reasons. But I feel like these nerfs did not like weaken him in the areas that he needed to be weakened. They were just like, I mean, the deafening blast mana cost is pretty fair, actually. I'll give credit to that. But I don't feel like losing 6 base agility is at all necessary for this hero that already has
Yeah.
like 2 armor at level 1 and doesn't get armor from any of his orbs and is like super gankable already. I feel like
Yeah.
this is just like a arbitrary like slap in the face to Invoker players. I don't know.
It seems really similar to like the way that they nerfed Storm Spirit, where they just kind of like made his early laning a little less like I don't know. Like now it's way more possible now to shut him down like in lane, if that makes sense. Like
Hmm.
his overall game didn't really get nerfed, but like he's a less safe pick. That you like, maybe with Invoker you have to be a little more like maybe I want like an Earthshaker or a Dazzle on my team to pick Invoker now if I'm against like Tusk or Earth Spirit or something. So he's just a little bit more counterable, doesn't fit into quite as many compositions as easily, but it's you're right, it's pretty minor and not like not going to change him from being like super first pickable in every pub game.
Yeah, I'm conflicted. I want to play with these changes before I like make some big verdict, but I do feel like this hero is already super gankable and like with the right heroes you could already just beat him in mid lane by like because the guy still has no wave clear, right? Like people say Alacrity gives him wave clear, but it really doesn't. Like it kind of does. It gives him much stronger laning phase, but still like if you're against a Shadow Fiend and he raises down the entire wave, like he can just push a tower so easily, because you don't have effective wave clear. Um, and Alacrity is good for like instances of damage, right? If you're last hitting, it gives you a last hit advantage, but like it does not like it's not like being a Quap or a Death Prophet or a Shadow Fiend and just being able to hit one button and kill the entire wave. And so I feel like
Yeah,
this hero was
but I
already
mean,
pretty beatable mid and
e-
gankable.
I mean, even given that, like he's still like when I think of like heroes that you can first pick mid, like
Oh yeah, he's
Invoker,
definitely
despite
yeah,
the fact that he does definitely have like a weakness. Like if he had wave clear and all his shit, like holy shit, what a hero that would be.
yeah, that would be dumb.
Um, But yeah, I mean, like he has weaknesses, and this just kind of like made him, it emphasized his weaknesses in the laning phase a bit more. And
Yeah.
he also, there is the fact that he will get boots before like any other mid hero because he doesn't buy bottle.
Yes.
So he is decently less gankable like until your mid gets boots and bottle to match Invoker's really early boots. So there's
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's okay. It doesn't really address anything huge and it doesn't change the hero up that much, but it just makes him like overall a bit weaker. It's kind of one
Yeah.
of those like change it a little bit and then we'll see going forward whether or not like he actually stays trending.
Yeah. I'm interested why they I don't know. I like again. I kind of want to play with these changes. I've not actually been playing Invoker this patch, to be honest. I played him like a bunch of times to get like the feel for him, and then like everybody's picking him now, so I feel like I don't know. Like we've said it on other episodes, I'm like a Dota hipster,
You
where
are
it's just
totally a
like
hipster.
I don't want to like pick this hero that everybody else is picking because it's like A, people are learning how to play against it. B, it's just like I feel like a tool. If it's like oh everybody's been picking Invoker,
Yeah.
I'm gonna first pick him anyway. Plus, I hate saying me mid in my pub games. But yeah, so that's that. I mean, again, we kind of touched on the Chen nerf. It's actually like a sizable Ags nerf, but I feel like this hero is still very first pickable. And it's still gonna be top priority in pro
Yeah.
games. That said, for all us, I assume all our listeners, possibly the vast majority, this is not like affect pub games because nobody plays this hero. And if they do, like you're gonna lose anyway because this hero is really good in the right hands.
Yeah.
But
The
yeah,
the
so
thing with Chen is like he's really good in the early game and like originally he was like kind of all in early game, then they gave him like a little bit more late game option, but now it's like he's sick good early game. And then also like if your plan A goes to shit, like your plan B is still pretty good to like push with
yeah,
ancients and shit. So now his plan B isn't quite as strong and you're a little bit more all in on the early game, which is cool.
yeah. I still like, as much as I'm not one for like quotes or anything like that, I still will never forget PPD saying, some interviewer was asking like, who is the most OP hero in Dota? And this was like back in TI4, and that's when Chen was like pretty like like high priority, but not like the priority that he is
Yeah.
now. It was like if you have a Chen player, you pick him. It wasn't just like you pick him and like somebody figures out how to play Chen.
Yeah.
Anyway, he said Chen is most OP hero in Dota because there's no other hero that can single-handedly win all of your lanes for you at 5 minutes. And that's like the same basic idea. I know that also like I mean they kind of nerfed Chen when they added the free glyph every time a tier one dies because now you can't
Yeah.
steamroll. But it still pretty much applies. Like if you have a good Chen player on your team, they'll just suffocate you with like creeps and like if even if their ganks don't work out, like they just push down your towers unless you have a Marana because Marana is just like insane. I was playing with Scrunk, who is our friend, who is a Chen player, quite good Chen player, and the enemy team had like Marana and two Midases, and it was just like, oh, every time we
Yeah.
bring creeps in, they just die.
Yeah, that's
Um,
rough.
but yeah, so I mean that's the gist of the patch. It's nothing revolutionary. The Aether Lens nerf, I mean, it's a good nerf. I'm happy about it.
Good
I still
shit.
think Pudge shouldn't be allowed to buy it, but
Yeah, it's annoying. But the fact that it doesn't give him magic resist now means that he won't like not take damage when he rots, which is really cool.
yes. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy about it. I'm happy with any nerf to that item. I feel like this is going to be what like what they did with Glimmer Cape, where they're going to give it like
Yeah,
incremental nerfs into the point that like it's still pretty good, but it's not like the ridiculous force that it currently
yeah.
is.
In any item that's like at a price range where it's like competing with, and therefore there are situations where it's better than Force Staff. Like that
Mhm.
item is gonna need a lot of tuning because Force Staff's pretty fucking good.
Yes. All right. So I mean, that's the patch. So I feel like we should just get to our combo,
Yeah,
shall we?
fine, whatever.
Our hopefully winning combo. I pray. It's going to be the Badman special, Spectre, Mercurial, the Roland special. Even he loves that hero. And then I
Wow.
am going to
Okay.
be playing Shadow Demon, a hero that nobody plays except for Gorgon. Gorgon plays Shadow Demon. He's
And me,
quite good
man.
at it.
That's one of my supports.
Is it?
One of my like five supports I play.
Boy, that's a piece of
See,
information
my
I'm
Shadow
looking
Demon
for.
is sick good. Just saying.
Mine is better. So
Okay, well, that's fair.
let's
What's your record on Shadow Demon? We're gonna do this.
oh, that's a good question. Let's look it up. Are you looking it up
Piece
or
of
should
shit.
I? It's
Um,
probably not good.
I don't
I
know.
just lost a Demon game the other day. I'll find it. So what are you gonna do on Spectre while I do this research?
I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win, get last hits, and then buy items, and then win because that's or and get passive gold. That's actually the main key to Spectre is getting your passive gold because sometimes you like that's all you can do.
Yeah.
But then you still win because like as long as the heroes make like you can just buy like gauntlets of strength just like repeatedly on Spectre and like get tanky enough that you just that's enough. Like you did it. You bought
Yeah.
gauntlets of strength. Congratulations, Spectre. You slowly incremented your way to items. Um,
I remember I was playing a party game the other day and there was a Spectre on the enemy team and you were observing this game because you messaged me about it. That's why I'm remembering this. This guy went like phase boots, Vanguard drums. And this was the most unkillable Spectre I've ever dealt with. It was so obnoxious. Like it was
yeah,
like 20 minutes or whatever. And like he just like sure he didn't have a damage item, but like eventually if a guy lives through an entire fight, he's going to do enough damage to you with Desolate. And it was just so obnoxious. Like we
and
had
just
no
like
way to kill
reflect
this
the
guy.
damage. Like he's so good,
Exactly.
or she's so
Um
good rather. That's a it's a female hero, believe it or not.
oh I
Fact.
yeah, fact. Anyway, I so my Shadow Demon may not be the best. It may or
Yeah.
may not have a
How many
35%
how
win
many
rate.
games you got on it?
17.
Okay, we have more games than me. I have 10 games. One is on my Smurf, and I've won one on my Smurf out of one, and then on my other account I've won six. So I'm 7-10 on this hero.
Okay.
And I play him in captain's mode and shit. I'm great. I'm great at this guy.
Yeah,
So
I
I'll just kind of watch you and let you know every mistake you're making.
oh, I'm sure there'll be plenty because
Yeah.
this is a hero that like Shadow Demon's a hero that we very rarely see in a pub game. He is definitely. I mean, I'm just kind of saying this out of nowhere, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. He's definitely probably in the in the bottom 10 of played heroes.
That's a fair guess.
That said, he's a good hero, and I have that information at the ready actually. But yeah, I mean, he's a good hero, but he's very high skill cap and very low reward, I guess is how I would phrase it. Is he requires a lot of skill and practice to do what other heroes do easily. Um, and I mean, do with
Yeah.
that information what you will. But he's played in a pro game earlier, and that's what Purge was saying. Was basically like I forget whoever was casting. I think it was Suns fan. He was like, "Why do people not pick Shadow Demon?" And Purge is just like, "The hero is squishy, and the big problem is that other heroes do what he does better, which is a very simple like interaction. I mean, that's why certain heroes aren't played. And I can't think of any others off the top of my head, but he's definitely one of them where it's just like you're picking Shadow Demon for like, you know, I don't know. Like you used to pick him
Like that's the thing with Shadow Demon is you're like what is the niche he's filling? Like you look at your team and you're like,
Purge.
shit, we need some fucking stuns, man. We need some stuns on this team. We need disable. We need like the ability to heal our team. Like Shadow
Yeah,
Demon does things that no other hero really does. I mean, he does similar things to things other heroes, but like the way
not
that
on
he
this
does
level.
his things is completely unique.
It's just awkward too. Like disruption as a mechanic has a potential in certain combinations to be really good, and also now with the buffs to disruption in 6.86, where like now the illusions last for like a good long time. But this year, like that's an interesting mechanic, and the setup thing is pretty cool, but it's very niche. He's super countered by BKB, and like disruption as a
Oh no,
relative.
he's not. He like he hard counters BKB. Well, not
Well, I
hard
mean,
counters, but
Purge does because he can.
yeah.
Yes,
I mean, it's
but
one of the only support ults that fucks up a BKB. Like this hero is like you pick this guy against Lifestealer. Like I think he's really good against BKB.
yeah, but it's for the slow, not for like the
Yeah, so
damage
like if a
style.
Shadow Fiend
So
BKB is it's not the best, but like against like a Lifestealer or a PA,
yeah,
I think it's
no,
legit.
that's a very good point. But overall, like this hero, I think he's interesting and I like him. But I like he's not a hero I pick independently unless like
Yeah,
somebody asks me to play him or something because it's just like, well, I could be playing a good support that I like Lena or Lion, although I don't really like Lion, but something like that. But
yeah,
yeah, so but I'm excited to play this hero because I think he's like I don't know. I think he's interesting at the very least, even if he's not terribly good. Like disruption's a really cool ability, and being able to do like a ton of damage to somebody with shadow poison is always super fun
yeah.
because
Shadow Poison is a very fulfilling skill.
it's weird because there are certain heroes that are helped and certain heroes that are hurt by the fact that nobody knows how they work. And Shadow Demon, people know like the idea behind him, but they don't play against him or with him often enough to recognize like I have 5 stacks of shadow poison, I'm super dead. They're like, oh, I'm gonna take like a couple hundred damage, whatever. And
Yeah.
then it's like, bam, 500 damage. You're freaking dead at two
That's
minutes.
like one
Um,
stack, nothing. Two stacks, 3 stacks. Like, okay, you're getting there. 4 stacks, you're like, holy shit, this is gonna do a fuck ton of damage. You get to five, and like that person, like you just finger of death that dude for like 50 mana
yeah,
several times.
at the rune at minute 0, and
Yeah,
like,
it's a good spell. And you can like clear stacks and stuff with it too.
yes,
It's solid. Yeah, Shadow Demon's really interesting. And like Soul Catcher is cool. It like it's a support skill that like really scales. Like it makes someone take 50% bonus damage. Like that's
if you
good
can hit him
for all
with it.
stages of the game. Yeah, if you hit them with it. So it's like he has a lot of very like skill dependent skills. Like you can disrupt someone and fuck everything up, or you can save the game with it. So he's definitely a hero that you don't want your like one friend who's like way worse than the rest of your group. Where you're like, oh,
Playing,
please
yeah.
just play support, and then they pick Shadow Demon. You're like, oh fuck.
Great. He's gonna be 0 and 20. Perfect.
Yeah, so
But
he's definitely really cool. And then his Ags is insane.
it's
The
really
fact
good
that it
if you can get it.
applies. Yeah, and does it apply break by default, or is that only with Ags?
I think it's only with Ags, but
Yeah, I'm pretty sure as well. It
I feel
doesn't
like they
say that.
changed that.
Yeah, the Dota 2 wiki just went down, so I'm kind of looking at Dota 2's website. And it
Oh
doesn't
boy,
say
that's gonna
anything
be terrible.
about break
The,
without
the Dota
eggs.
2
So
website says very little, just
yeah,
in
so
general.
I'm gonna say that it needs ags to apply the break. So like and break is a mechanic that like not a lot of things actually apply. Like you're going up against a bristleback or a specter, like me, who I'm gonna be playing this game.
Yep.
Having that break to disable the passives is really really helpful. So like maybe Shadow Demon's kind of a clutch pick against like specter or bristleback or something like that when you don't have a good silver edge carrier or something like that.
Purge is definitely awesome, and it's like a really. I feel like of all the mechanics in Dota, it's one of the more underrated ones. Where like people obviously they buy diffusal, but a lot of times they just use it to slow. They don't think of the purge as much,
Yeah,
and you can purge off a lot of things that you would not expect to be able to purge off.
yeah.
I mean, you used to be able to purge off Ursa ult, like now you can't obviously because that hero was like dumpster tier because of that. But there are some interesting things that you can purge off, like so many Mask of Madnesses to try to kill you, like a Faceless Void's killing your guy in Chrono, just purge it off, stuff like that. It can be a very game changing or fight changing
Yeah.
ult, or
Like
just
if you
purge in general. Deal with
purge a lone
diffusal.
druid, if I lose fucking 50 attack speed and like 50% or like 20-30% move speed. It's
Hmm.
really good because I depend on that to exist as a hero. So
Yeah,
fuck purges and fuck Invoker because every time he tornadoes me, I need to wait fucking like 30 seconds to be a hero again, which is dumb
yeah.
and I hate it.
That is something people commonly forget about. Like rookie invoker players, they do not think they think like, oh, tornado, it's good damage, it's good setup. But like the really nice thing is like it purges in a huge
Yeah.
AoE,
And like you're
and
fighting
that's
an
why you
Omni
pick it against
Knight.
Omni Knight.
Yeah, he
Exactly.
ults and you're like tornado, and then they're
Yeah.
just like, well, there goes Omni's ult. His fucking like half the point of his hero is gone now. Thank you. And
Yep.
demonic purge also you can cast on a magic immune dude, so you can. Well, I mean,
You can purge
diffusers can do
repel
this as well.
and
Yeah, so you can
guardian
purge
angel.
repel, guardian angel. You can purge Chen send back and shit. Like there's a bunch of shit you can purge. It's a good thing to have.
I wonder if you disrupt somebody before the send back hits, will they get sent back? I know disruption is a weird ability because it keeps you on the map despite you being disrupted. That's why like
Yeah.
you can salve somebody, disrupt them, and as long as they don't take damage before the disruption hits, they will keep ticking up with the salve.
I don't think they'll get sent back. That's my hypothesis, but feel
I don't
free.
think so either, but I honestly don't know, and I'm not going to test that.
Can you get glimpsed out of disruption? Glimpse is one of those things that just like says fuck you to like every mechanic.
Um,
Because I know you can glimpse puck
this
even
glimpse
when
goes
he's
to like
phase
everything.
shifted.
Yeah, dude, glimpse you can dodge with like manta dodge, and that's about it.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Uh,
Manta dodge trumps everything. Let's be real.
yeah, it does. I feel like there's something else you can dodge glimpse with, but that's for another episode.
CK Phantasm, CK's ulti.
Yes.
Another kind of another Manta, basically.
Yeah, but you can't do it with doppelganger, which is interesting. Um, because those are all similar mechanics. But anyway, so that's Shadow Demon. I mean, so the skill build I'll be doing is I'll be maxing Shadow Poison, and then I'll get
Oh boy.
probably Disruption level 2 and the amp damage at level 4, and that's pretty standard. And then I'll max amp damage second and Disruption last. And the reasoning for that is that Disruption in the early game is good for setup and it's good for locking down people to chase and whatnot. But in the late game, it becomes very different. It has very different utilities in late game because it becomes an item like, oh, my carry has a radiance, like a Spectre. Cool, I'm going to make two illusions that last for 12 seconds and I'm going to push with them. I'm going to farm with them. I'm going to do whatever the heck I want with them because
Yeah.
they're good illusions. And so it kind of changes usefulness where in the early game you're using it on enemies to lock them down or whatever. And then in the late game you're using it on your allies to hassle the enemy team or on the enemy team to hassle the enemy team. But
Yeah, or in any phase of the game, you can use it to save your team. It's like if Kunkka's like
oh yeah,
Xing someone and it's gonna like fucking stun into boat, and then you just like disrupt them in the middle of it, and then he's like, "Well, okay, I used my
yeah.
boat."
Oh, I mean, yeah, that it has untold defensive properties. You can dodge
Yeah,
Laguna with it. I've seen that before.
yeah, it's
I've had
crazy.
that done against me, which was not fun. That's a mortifying experience. And yeah, so I mean, this hero, it's interesting. It's definitely
Yeah,
he's definitely a support that has potential for flashy plays.
I feel
If you have
like
crazy disruptions and stuff.
his he definitely, as we said before, he has a different niche from like every other support that's ever existed. And his current one, which is like still fairly new, like they just kind of changed the disruption to really be emphasizing the illusions that come out of it, and not just the fact that you throw someone away for 2.5 seconds. But like it's good against illusion heroes, and it's good with illusion heroes, or not just illusion heroes, but heroes that could have good illusions if they had them. So like a hero like Tiny has sick good illusions. So you can disrupt him. You have like a bunch of fucking little tiny dudes who hit for like
Hmm.
100 damage, even though they're illusions. Or in this case, I guess how much would they would do like fucking yeah, a little
A
over 100.
lot.
Yeah. Oh no, shit, that's like 200. They would do like 200 damage. That's fucking great. Holy shit.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, it's
tiny
crazy.
disruptor or tiny disruption. Really good. And then Purge is good against like it's good with the break mechanic, which is new. So yeah, he's like pro anti-illusion plus also good against passives, which like no other support really covers that niche. So I think until this kind of like that kind of area gets explored, Shadow Demon's going to remain a fringe pick. But once we kind of identify exactly who to pick him with and who to pick him against, I feel like he'll probably rise in prominence a decent amount.
Yeah, there used to be like some classic Shadow Demon combos, kind of like reminiscent of the Bane combos, where it'd be like Shadow Demon and Mirana, or Shadow Demon Centaur was a really
Yeah.
popular one. But yeah, so I mean that's Shadow Demon for you. Item wise, I'm just gonna be going like mana boots, wand, and then ags. Probably got a force staff or a blink dagger. Depends on the
Yeah.
game, of course. I'm just looking at my recent Shadow Demon games. My last game, I had Ghost Scepter, ags, mana boots. The game before that, I had Armlet, Mask of Madness, Midas, a Vitality booster, and mana boots. So that must
Right.
have been a fun game.
Yeah.
I was
Well,
four
Armlet's
and
kind of a
five.
core Shadow Demon item.
It is. It is. I feel like I was dying a lot, so I was like, "What do I need? I need health." Armlet. Perfect. All right.
on
So,
uh on Shadow Demon, I was like, I don't know, like any support who doesn't go like Tranquils or like a mech or something like
yeah,
that.
Tranquil's. Yeah.
I really do like Force Staff on them just because like having that like Ring of Regen component, like not only does it give you the escape, and Force Staff is like one of the most fun support items in the game, but
For
like
sure.
just that extra little regen component, like having a Ring of Regen on your hero and mana boots means that you can be on the map and roaming and like helping your team at all times, and you never really have to worry about your sustain or like being at a decent amount of health and that sort of thing. So I like the
Yeah.
Force Staff on this hero a lot.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think the issue is just like if it's a game I need a force staff, like I'm against a Clockwork or something, then I'll get it before Ags. Otherwise, I'll get it after because like the Ags is such a big deal. And yeah, I mean, if the game is not going ideally, then I'll go Tranquil's Soul Ring instead of just mana boots. But yeah, so I mean that's Shadow Demon for you. If you want to quickly go over Spectre,
Yeah,
before we run into our game.
Spectre's a pretty well-known hero at this point. She's obviously really good with Radiance, and then if you can't get Radiance, the kind of backup is to go either like a really fighty tanky build with like Blade Mail and shit, or the more common like Diffusal. There have been some kind of there's this dude that you mentioned before, Badman, who got like 8.2k, and he's relatively unknown outside of the fact that he plays Spectre, and
Hmm.
he just goes like a really tanky build where he can like be 1v5ing from the start of the game and
Yeah,
just
he
go like
rarely goes Radiance.
yeah
If you look
he
at his past
goes
games, yeah,
it's like phase
it's
phase
phase
earn drums
drums, yeah, and
Yasha
then
and then either into Manta or Diffusal and then he gets the other one that he didn't get before after that and then just kind of like manhandles the game from there going whatever he needs. I'm a big Radiance player. There are a lot of games on Spectre where like if the game's going bad enough that I can't get a Radiance, kind of my thought process is like, well, I could go this middle of the road build and like accept that we fucked up, or perhaps the game is going so shit that I'm like, there's no way we win this game unless a miracle happens with a
yeah,
Radiance at my side. So I'm kind of split on that. But there have been a lot of games I won where I'm just like, I'm losing. I'm just gonna buy like drums and vanguards and fucking diffusals and like just random shit to not die, and then I'll slowly just entropy the fuck out of this game. And that's a really valid way to play that hero as well.
oh yeah,
I've had a lot of different. I play this hero a shit ton. In my captain's mode games for my school, it's like basically we have 100%. I think we lost one Spectre game, but we win most of my Spectre games. And it's really just I just the only real decision I make is like what kind of farming item I'll go. Either go Aki, it's either Aki Earn or I really like Mask of Madness on this hero, which got popular like when the during like the Jug patch where like everyone with a Jug Slamper,
yeah,
everyone just got Mask of Madness. And like it's actually pretty good on Spectre because like Hero does really well with move speed. If you like dagger into trees and then pop mask, you don't really need to worry about taking additional damage. When you're jungling, you don't really do much damage on the hero, but if you do mask, you're not taking much damage, but you're dealing a lot more. It
Hmm.
makes your like if you're ever alone with someone and you pop mask, you will desolate the fuck out of them. Like they're dead. That's not
Yeah.
a question. It gives you jungling ability, not dependent on getting earn charges really, really like early on. It's not like you like buy earn and you're like shit, gotta get a kill real quick because I'm out of regen.
Yeah.
And just you jungle immediately, and then you can go like I'll go like Morbid Mask, and then Aki, and then I'll be farming my Radiance. And if I'm ever about to die, and like I check, you can like check how much gold you're gonna lose if you die. So if like I die and I have a lot of unreliable gold, I'm like, I'll just like buy the recipe for Mask of Madness, and then kind of minimize the loss, and then just keep farming with that. But that's kind of like a personal thing I've been doing. And then if you go that, it opens up Scotty because you have the mask of the like the life steal gives you scaling regen. Like with just
Hmm.
if you go like earn or something, like once you have a huge health pool, like if you go Scotty earn or something, once you have a huge health pool, like earn is gonna take a long time to recover that. But like at any
That's
point,
true.
a Morbid Mask is always gonna do enough for you. So like I like doing Scotty on that hero, which is a lot better now that his dispersion like reflects the damage that you would take, not the damage that you take after armor.
Yes.
Um,
Pre-mitigation.
yeah, so there's a lot of things in this hero. Manta's absurdly good, but you need good health regen before you get the Manta because you're gonna take damage every fight, and after you take a fight, you want to push. So it's not like you want to have no health regen, take a fight that you're tanking because you're fucking Spectre, then have like 100 health and have to go home. So that's that hero. I like treads unless you go drums, in which case I like phase. Um, yeah, I like Spectre a lot. She's fucking awesome.
Yeah, she's cool. I'm a big fan of Spectre. While playing with her, I hate playing against Spectre.
Oh,
Definitely
skills on
there.
this hero.
Yeah.
Skills. You got to Q. You got to get Q level one. I don't care what the just fucking do it. I've seen people not get Q level one, and then they're getting ganked through. They're like
And then
fumbling
they
their
die.
shit. Like, yo, just take Q level one. Like, don't. That's not even a question. And then if you're trading right clicks with someone and they're never near creeps, I guess you can get W to level two when you're three. But for the most part, you want to go like Q W Q E W. That way, your Desolate is doing a decent amount of damage. You may not have enough mana for a level three Q at level five, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm pretty into getting your Q at least to level two, or getting your W to level two, and then maxing your Q.
Hmm.
Desolate is really really good. And the second point on it just kind of gives it that extra makes fast hitting a lot easier. You can jungle faster with it because that actually works on creeps now, which is awesome. So
Yes.
that's my general idea. You get I like being 2-2-1 at five. And then from there, you max Q and the max W and the max E, getting ult whenever you can, of course. And always look for the
Hmm.
haunt kills. Always look for the
Yeah, I
haunt
was gonna
kills.
say that's like whenever I see Spectre players or whenever I play Spectre, it's always like the decision between like the mindless Spectre player that's just like, all right, I'm gonna get Radiance at 18 minutes, I'm gonna hit Haunt and kill supports, and then the good Spectre player that's like haunting for triple kills at like 10 minutes, and it's like, all right, cool,
Yeah.
I like that guy. It's definitely one of those like deciding factors between what makes a mediocre Spectre player into a really good one, and vice versa. So yeah. All right, well, I mean, I'm looking forward to this already, considering I feel I feel like after 9 losses in a row, many of which were ranked, I deserve a win. And I know
Yeah.
that's gambler's fallacy, but I don't care. I believe in us, regardless of my 35% Shadow Demon win rate.
Yeah, I'm looking at your man, yeah, you played a game recently and lost it. And yeah, I'm just kind of looking at your record. I'm kind of dreading playing with you, and I'm like, this
Yeah,
guy just all he does is lose games.
all
But
I
I
do is buy
guess
null talismans, apparently.
he's just like this really shitty no talisman gaming
I don't know
player.
why I did that. That's such a bad build. That's
Where
from 2012 though, so
what game are you even talking about?
there my first 5 Shadow Demon games,
Oh,
I
I'm looking at your last Shadow Demon game.
Oh yeah,
It's
that
on
game
the 17th.
was friggin' miserable. That
Yeah,
was
it,
in
it
my
looks
losing
it.
streak, by the way.
Hey, you got the Ags though.
Oh, I
Nice.
did. I tried.
Love that item.
Yeah. No, my first 5 games were in 2012 of Shadow Demon, and I have 3 nulls in the first game, 1 in the second, 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth. Don't know why it was all about null talismans at the time, but
Maybe you were mid and you were like
it definitely
really
was not
mid that you needed to buy multiple in the talismans to win lane.
nice. All right. Anyway, let's hop into the game, shall we? I'm
Yeah,
looking
whatever.
forward to it. And if we lose, prepare yourselves, podcast listeners, for me to just be like drowning in a pool of sorrow.
It'll probably be on
Yeah.
it'll probably be
I
on Shadow
I
Demon, let's be
need
honest.
I need Proud to be my Sherpa, to lead me up to the mountain of success. And yeah, that's how that's gonna go. So let's play the game, which of course you can watch on .ptv1. All right, hello everyone, and welcome to the second part of Theory Crafting Thursday. We're back, and thankfully, this podcast is going to go into a lighter mood because we actually won, and I don't have anything to complain about because it was a really fun game, and I had a good time. It was nice,
Yep.
like even game. Like we I would say we were dominant in all phases of the game, but never so dominant that like the game felt one-sided.
Yeah, our team was definitely it was definitely like we were probably the dom in that relationship.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And I don't know. I like earlier we were saying how Shadow Demon is not like the perfect hero or anything, but like I definitely like had so much fun playing that hero, even though like I
Yeah.
know there were definitely some supports I could have been playing that I may have been a little more effective, but like that hero, like I think you said it in the VOD when we were playing, where it's like every time you cast an ability, it feels like it's like it takes action and it takes like
Yeah.
involvement, and it's
All of
very
your skills,
satisfying.
yeah. Every single one of them has like some element of skill to it. Like getting a soul catcher on the correct person, you need to like plan around that. Every single one of your shadow poisons is like a fucking skill shot, and you need to get multiple on at the same time. And your ulti is like not super powerful. Like it's not just like finger of death, but like it does damage and it does like a very powerful slow. And it's like, I don't know, like all of his skills are like very skill dependent and you don't just have very obvious uses for them.
Yeah, it was super satisfying. I mean, you did your Spectre thing, of course. You know, Spectre is Spectre. You went like more of the fighting build in the early
Yeah.
game, the survival thing. But I mean, well, I guess as usual, I will read off the comps. So the enemy team was Rubik and Anti-Mage in the safe lane, Nyx Assassin and Jakiro in the off lane, and Quap middle. And then our team was Undying Gyrocopter in the off lane, Shadow Demon Spectre in the safe lane, of course, and Pudge in the mid lane. And the game, like, it was very back and forth in the early game, and then you kind of took a lead over the Anti-Mage farm wise, and then like fights started turning more to our favor. Whereas like we had like it's like an incremental lead, I guess is how I would word it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. I'm looking at kind of some of the stuff now, and Anti-Mage actually got more like last hits and that sort of thing than I did. They were like zoning me pretty well from the lane, that sort of thing, and I was missing a couple. And Spectre's just not quite as strong as a CSer as Anti-Mage, but
Yeah.
our kills in the lane, like the way we played the lane, like Shadow Demon Spectre, you see that you're like, okay, that's a lane that's going to get bullied. But we're against Shakiro Nyx, which sounds like a lane that's going to bully.
Yeah.
And we just traded kills with them nonstop. There's one death I had where I was like very dumb and like I used a mango when I meant to sell it because I was like, I'll get the use out of it before I sell it, which that's not
Yeah.
how it works, turns out. And I was planning to like buy a Vanguard while they were killing me, but instead I just like used my mango and then died immediately. But beyond that, the laning phase was really good. That was a huge throw on my part, but I still got Midas at 20 minutes and it was like not Midas. I got Vanguard, Aki, Phase Boots, and Radiance at like 21 minutes, having all of that. So it definitely was a good game.
Yep.
Uh, things went good. On Spectre, you always have to. I think the choice is always between you have to go earn some kind of life steal if you're a cool ass hipster like me, or Vanguard for your health regen item on Spectre before you get your Radiance or your whatever you decide to go. And in that case, we weren't going to get any kills reliably, so Urn wasn't the way to go. We weren't going to. I definitely wasn't doing well enough that I was just going to auto attack the wave and lifesteal. So lifesteal wasn't the option. So just a ring of health into a Vanguard, I think was the right decision, and I'm going to stick by that. That worked out really well that game.
Yeah, it definitely worked out. I know you had some mana problems, but that's just kind of gonna come with such like a
Anti mage and Nyx, like
yeah.
that's hard.
And like you were very rarely going back to base. You were like constantly using spells and haunting into fights and stuff. So it
Yeah,
was very like, even though I had mana boots and Undying had Guardian Greaves, it was still like, there's only so much mana we can give you, right?
yeah,
But it worked out in the long run. So I ended up going. When I go, I went Brown Boots Wand in the beginning because, like you said, we were in a super aggressive lane, and I was really poor for a long time.
Yeah.
And then I went Mana Boots, Glimmer Cape, Ghost Scepter, and then at the very end of the game, I bought an Aether Lens and Travels because I disassembled my Mana Boots. And
Right.
initially, like in the prior part, of course, we were talking about how good Shadow Demon Ags was, but this, I think the problem with his Ags, with and the problem with a lot of support Ags is that like he just cannot accumulate that much gold
Yeah.
in like a high intensity game like this, and that was definitely the case. It was very rare I had more than 1,000 gold,
Yeah,
and
I don't even think it was a good game for Ags. There was no real there wasn't really a lot of passives you needed to disable. Like the only BKBs were the BKBs on Quap and Anti Mage.
yeah,
I don't even know if Quap
Quap
had
did.
one, but
Yeah, but she got it at
uh,
the very end. I think she only used her 10-second charge, maybe the 9 second.
okay. Yeah, so I mean, it wasn't super essential, and those guys can blink anyways. I think what I thought was interesting about the game is that we had no lockdown for these blinks outside of like Pudge. Like
Yeah,
he needs to like hook into Dismember or just like he didn't have a blink. No, he did get a blink dagger. That's good, and Aether, so it wasn't too bad to get to Dismember off. But yeah, it was like maybe we'll get a rocket on someone, but like a lot of my kills on Quap and Anti Mage were like I would dagger them and they would blink away, and I would like hopefully I can catch up before they blink again.
yeah.
But that was interesting that like we still won despite really not having a good counter for them. But yeah, it was good. I like that.
Yeah, it was a fun game. Like I said, Shadow Demon. I think I might have to start playing this hero more. Although, I feel like my MMR would suffer for it in the long run. Even though we did win this
Yeah.
game, like
Well, this also was a really good game from you. Were against an anti-mage, which is illusions to make to kill,
yes,
and
I
you
killed a
were with
Quap
a
with them.
specter.
I
Yeah, that's awesome.
that was the that Quap must have been mortified. I like solo killed the Quap. She's like, "Oh, it's a support. I can kill him." And then I was just like, "Nope, I have two anti-mage illusions." And I just like ulted her, and I threw like two shadow poisons, and then I threw the amp damage, and it amped the damage from
Yeah,
everybody.
that's insane.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'll kill a co-op super easy and then burn all their mana and shit too. That's really strong.
yeah, that's embarrassing. But yeah, so it was a good time. Yeah, they definitely like. Again, I think it's that people just don't think of Shadow Demon, so they're like, "Yeah, sure, I'll pick Anti Mage." Whereas Shadow Demon's actually like one of the better supports against Anti Mage in
Yeah.
like in instances. I would not say in like the overall game. The interesting issue I had, being that I'm not like a big time Shadow Demon player, was I did a skill build that I talked about earlier, where of course I maxed Shadow Poison first. That's pretty much mandatory. But then I maxed the amp damage
A
second.
lot of people like maxing Soul Catcher. I think that's
Yes.
dumb, but
I think it depends on your comp. Like certain
yeah, I
times, I'm
mean
sure it's really good.
it's not the worst. Like people who play this game a lot do it, so it's got to have some kind of merits to it. But yeah, I like the autonomy you give yourself when you have Shadow Poison maxed.
Yeah. And also like I was pretty consistently getting at least three charges on people. So,
Yeah,
but anyway, the I maxed Shadow Catcher or what Soul
Soul
Catcher
Catcher. Yeah,
second. And I think in a normal game that's the build, but in this game I think I would have been better served by maxing my egg for second, because by the time I was getting my secondary skill maxed, you already had a Radiance. Anti-Mage was like Anti-Mage, so I think I really could have gotten some value out of, if I were to replay this
yeah,
game, if I were to replay this game at level 10, I would have, 4-1-4-1 instead of 1-4-4-1.
yeah. That's the thing with a lot of supports is when you think about skilling them, it's not really so much like what do I need? Like, what is the most help for me at this level? It's like, all right, 10 minutes down the road when I'm only
Yeah.
3 levels up, like what skill is going to be useful to me?
Yeah, every point is precious.
Yeah, like if you're playing a CM and you have 4 points in aura, like that's really helpful right now. But then like 10 minutes down the road, like maybe you would like for your frostbite to be maxed,
Yeah,
because you're still going to be waiting for points for that to happen. So
that's very true.
that kind of thing.
But yes, overall, I think it definitely showed the power of both of these heroes, and we've kind of strayed away from doing combos that have like direct, like gimmicky synergy, stuff like the Omni Knight Pudge. Like that stuff's fun and gimmicky, but that stuff, it's all about winning the laning phase, but it doesn't necessarily win the game. Whereas a combo like this, we played these two heroes, and like we had some synergy, but overall it was more like playing two heroes in a situation that works, in a combo that works with some vague mutual benefits, but generally it's more about winning the game rather than like in a lane we can trade, right? And that's what we did quite successful. Um, but it
Yeah,
wasn't
it
like
was really
some
good.
It's the kind of combo that I like to run because it's not like super obvious and gimmicky, but it's still like strong and consistent, and it was definitely strong. Like I'm happy with it.
We're
Nope.
definitely gonna have to play PL Coddle just for the fact that
Oh
it's
yeah,
the
someday,
dumbest thing.
someday. Maybe next time I'm on a losing streak and we desperately need a win, we'll run that.
I don't even think it's that good anymore. I just think
Honestly,
it's
I
like,
think Coddle is a terrible hero.
yeah, I used to use shit.
Me and Flood
Sorry,
argue about this.
Dakota.
Um, well, a lot of people like that hero. I actually like that hero, to be honest. I just think he's garbage. Like
Yeah.
there are a lot of heroes that I like that
Man,
are
Mana Leak though.
garbage.
Fuck that skill.
That
Holy
skill
shit.
is really good.
I hate Mana Leak. Holy
He's
shit. Fuck that skill.
he's
That's
so level
ugh.
starved. Like when we talk about like a hero like CM, where it's like, oh, I could put 4 points in aura, or I could do this, but like Kato is like probably the best example, one of the best examples of being a level starved support, where it's like you can't really afford to get a Midas. You can farm a little bit, but then it's like slow, and you can't benefit the lanes, and it's like I need 4 points in chakra to benefit my friends. I need 4 points in mana leak to stun people. I need 4 points in my nuke to nuke. And it's just like, and then you need your ult, which a lot of people skip until like 9, 10,
Yeah.
or 9, 11,
I
or
think
10,
that's what you
11.
do these days. Yeah.
I don't know.
I
I
think
don't
I
play
would do
that
that.
garbage hero, but
Be like 3 in Q, 2 in W, 3 in E. I would play that build.
like I've read so many guides on him because I want to make him work, and like every single one has some drastically different build.
Yeah,
So,
I feel like if you like anytime you level up and you like press whatever hotkey to like enable skilling up and you just like kind of throw your hand on your keyboard and spasm out a little
yep.
bit, like you'll probably like there's some situation where that was the correct way to spasm.
Yeah, I and there are definitely heroes that is not the case. This actually
Right.
just reminded me. I was playing Kunkka support a few days ago, and I accidentally got Tidebringer at level 1 because I was typing to somebody and I just like forgot to hit enter, and I was like,
Yeah.
we are so screwed.
Dude,
And
that is the worst.
that was actually like the like epitome of like the worst possible skill build. It's like, all right, if I was like a core, I could harass somebody with this, but I can't because not only is it ineffective harass for like minimal damage, but also I'm gonna push my own wave.
Yeah.
That was a mess, and that actually transitioned into being an amazing Kunkka game, which of course my team lost. But regardless,
Yeah. The number of times I've been like typing to someone and then like they pick a hero out of nowhere and then I'm like loaded into the game and I press like O and E at the same time and I'm like lone druid with like I don't know, fucking like
yeah,
old synergy and no bear summon. I'm like, fuck.
perfect. Yeah,
Well, this will even itself out eventually.
or the classic, play Shadow Fiend, accidentally skill minus armor,
Yeah,
presence of the Dark
that
Lord.
has happened to me once. Like I don't know, it was saying something and you press O and then U and you just have stats at level 1. You're like, oh fuck,
Exactly.
like I lose. Yeah, that has happened more than once. Yeah,
Um,
man, you shouldn't be allowed to skill up within 2 seconds of loading. I think
you should
that's
be able to
anything.
like. I feel like there's no real way to balance around it. Like you can't be like you can't like retract your point like a system. It's like, oh well, you can retract your point in the first 10 seconds because then it'd be like, I don't know. I feel
Like
like there'd
level
be
up
so many
ulti and then
abuses.
take it back. No, yeah, I think it maybe just
Yeah.
like
Or like level up a passive and just like keep leveling it. Like you're playing Wraith King. Just keep leveling and unleveling your passive whenever you're gonna hit something, and then when you actually need it, you go and level like stun.
yeah.
Like there'd be so many abuses. Anyway,
Just don't let me skill anything up until like 3 seconds after I loaded. That would be great. I'd
that's
love that.
true. Um, but yeah, so I mean that's our lane. I don't know. Do you have anything else? Or that's our game, I suppose. Do you have anything
I
else
love
to?
Spectre. She's great, and she's a purple ghost, and
She's not a
just
Native American.
she's not. She doesn't have a Native American set. She has a
Contra
Carnivale set.
Contrary to Dot P Roland, Dot P
Yeah,
underscore Roland's,
contrary to popular belief,
yeah. I wouldn't say
Carnivale.
popular belief. Contrary to
But
singular belief of one
yeah,
person. Um, but yeah, so I mean that's Spectre and Shadow Demon. He has some cool cosmetics. And
yeah, Doc Ock and shit.
he's a
I
cool
think
hero.
the real synergy was we're both kind of like
Purple.
incorporeal beings. Like neither of us are chilling on like, the base level plane of reality. You're in
Nice.
hell or whatever the fuck, and I'm like a ghost, like a
Am
really
I?
sad ghost. Yeah, you're a
I
demon,
know.
dude.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously.
This is
But
thing about the Dota demons and not the one that can't, stay on a team. Dota demons like Shadow Demon and Shadow Fiend and Doom and shit. I think Lucifer is like top shit, and Shadow Fiend's just like this little piece of shit, but like Shadow Demon is like fucking like second in command and shit. Like Shadow Demon dominates the fuck out of Shadow Fiend, even though Shadow Fiend's like this big mid motherfucker who like dominates every game he's in. Shadow Demon's like actually King Cheese in that relationship.
maybe I've never thought of this. I like
Oh no, it's true. You don't even have to think. I'm telling you. I'm
okay,
Ice
that's
Frog.
fair. I
Remember?
mean,
I fucking designed this.
you have deigned it as so. Uh,
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's it's in the lore. Like Shadow Fiend is just like a little shitty fiend, and Shadow Demon is like, oh, I'm big shit. I'm a fucking demon. And
I'm
he's king. And I mean, Lucifer is king of hell. 'Cause
I'm
his name is fucking Lucifer. But
uh, you're not wrong. I'm constantly amazed by the amount of people, myself included, that have thousands and thousands of hours playing this game and have virtually no clue what the lore is. And like I know like maybe a third on a good day, maybe half of the heroes lore, um, or like their first name or like their name or their title, vice versa. Because in Dota 1 everybody had both.
yeah.
And some even had like alternate names, like I don't even know why. Like if you played Axe, there were like five different names you can random.
Yeah. So they're all like funny names or
Like
like
Chuck Norris
names
was
for some
one.
player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like Ursa. Ursa's
Fuzzy
name is
Wuzzy.
Fuzzy Wuzzy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Keeper
it's
of the
just
Light,
amazing that like
Gandalf, good stuff.
yeah, it's just amazing that like people can play a game. Like I have like easily 3,000 hours in the game, and then I'm sure at least 1,000 hours of out of game like theory crafting, talking, etc. And it's just like it's still like no not a clue about the lore or the mythos, etc. Like I know some basics, but
Lone Druid has an acorn.
does he?
Yep.
I'll take your word for it. Ice Frog. All right. I mean, I feel like we should get into the plugs, because if we don't have much to add on, and I don't want to get off on some crazy tangent because our first part was already like a little longer than
All
normal.
right, then do it. Jesus.
All right, so you can watch the VOD of this glorious game we played to break my 9 game losing streak, and win 25 ranked points. Of course, the priority. You can watch that on youtube.com/.ptv1. That's one, the number, not the spelling, not the
Yeah, don't
letters.
spell it out, kid. Jesus.
Yeah, if you do, you got bigger issues.
You're gonna get fucked up.
Yeah. All right, so you can find this on our website, and you can find articles and various things on our website, defenseofthepatients.com. On our website, you can click our Amazon banner and steal some money from Jeff Bezos and give it to us. And it costs nothing to you. It just, supports your favorite content creators. And we all have Twitters, of course. All the other shows, they say them on theirs, and so you can go find that yourself. I am at Ursinity, and Proud is at Proud Dota. We're nice and
Correct.
easy. It's always
Remember it every
confusing.
time.
It's always confusing when some people are like it'd be like, oh, my name is at like my name's Ursinity, and then it'd be like, oh, my Twitter is like at I don't even know the Wonder Cow, like something like that, which is
Jeffrey
Gorgon, of course.
Spees.
Everybody should follow Gorgon. He's a cool guy. He tweets smart things. But yeah, exactly. Like people that have completely opposite. Anyway,
Use their real name. Like this is real life. Like you're a fucking
yeah,
jock or something. This is a
yeah.
real name.
Fafnir.
Fucking jocks.
Um, Private chat channel. You should join that. You can add me or any of the other hosts or Fafnir. I believe that's the only people that have privileges to invite. But we will invite you to the private chat channel, which is the de facto guild because they gutted the guild system. That's fun. You should join that. We do in-houses. Currently, we always do in-houses on Thursdays. Either Fafnir or myself host them and coordinate slash cast, etc. And we're currently adding a day to the in-house schedule, and we have a straw poll that is up on the .p Reddit r/defense of the patients, as well as I've tweeted it out many times. I will tweet it out the day that this is released, and you can vote there on our second day to add to the schedule. I think currently it's between Tuesday and Saturday. I think Sunday is trailing behind by just like one or two votes. So you should vote on that so that we can add another day to the in-house schedule. Also, of course, you can email us at defenseofthepatients@gmail.com. And that's about it. That's how you get in touch with us. That's how you tell us that, Shadow Demon's actually a really good hero and I'm just underrating him, or you tell us that
I mean, I could tell you that.
Yeah, you could tell me that, and I would probably disagree with you, but
So would
that's
I, honestly.
where's the fun in that, right? So that's the gist of it, right? Do you have any closing thoughts?
Dude, I haven't had a thought in my life.
All right. Well, that's you've got enough, Mr. Ice Frog. All right. So yes, I mean that's been our theory, and if you mess up, well, it's probably your fault. So don't blame us.
Yeah, it's
We're
Spectre. How can you lose on this hero? What the fuck?
exactly Shadow Demon, 100% win rate, can't lose.
Never
Ace
lost a
hero.
game in his life.
Perfect. My 35% win rate is now probably like 37 or 40.
Is the show over?
The show's over now. I
Okay.
called it. Done.
Goodbye.
Bye.